bite that changed everything in the quiet town of Eldoria. Life had always been simple and calm. Children played in the streets. Merchants sold their goods in the bustling markets. And everyone knew each other by name, yet that peace was about to shatter. Starting with a single bite, Liam was an adventurous boy, always exploring the forest beyond the town. That day the sun was low. Casting long shadows through the trees, he wandered deeper than usual. Curious about a strange glowing plant he had never seen before, its petals shimmered in green and purple. Moving slightly as if breathing, as Liam leaned closer, he felt a sharp sting on his hand. A small creature, no bigger than his fist, had bitten him. Its eyes glowed like tiny embers, and before Liam could react, it vanished into the undergrowth. At first, he thought it was nothing, just a harmless insect, but soon he felt a strange warmth spreading from the bite. The walk back home was slow, each step feeling heavier. Liam noticed the world around him changing subtly. Colors seemed brighter, sounds sharper. Even the wind felt alive. When he reached his home, he tried to tell his parents about the bite, but the words came out strange, as if his tongue did not belong to him. That night, Liam could not sleep. His dreams were filled with visions of creatures he had never seen. Forests that moved, rivers that whispered, and stars falling from the sky. When he woke, the bite on his hand was glowing faintly, a soft green light pulsing with every heartbeat. Over the next few days, Liam realized he was changing. He could run faster than any boy in the town, see in the dark, and hear whispers carried by the wind. At first he was amazed, even proud, but soon strange urges came. A desire to explore places no human should, and hunger he could not explain. The townspeople began to notice changes too. Pets disappeared, shadows moved oddly, and sometimes Liam's eyes would glow faintly at night. His parents worried, seeking healers and wise men. But nothing could explain the bite. It was as if Liam had been marked by something older than the town itself. One evening, drawn by a strange pull, Liam returned to the forest, the place where it had all begun. He followed the glowing path of the plant. Deeper than he had ever dared to go, the trees grew taller, darker, and the air felt alive, watching him. Then he saw it. The creature that had bitten him, larger now, standing on two legs, its eyes still glowing. It spoke, not in words, but in thoughts, filling Liam's mind with knowledge. Knowledge of the forest, the hidden world around humans, and the secret forces that shaped life. "You are changed now," the creature said. "Your bite was not an accident. It was a choice you did not know you had. You are part of something greater, something that will shape your world." Liam felt fear and excitement at the same time. He realized that his life in Eldoria, simple and calm, would never exist again. The creature showed him the balance of the forest, the hidden predators, the unseen guardians, and the fragile threads that held life together. Liam learned that every action, every step, even the smallest bite, could ripple across the world, changing everything. When he returned home, nothing looked the same. He tried to explain, but no one could understand. His friends played as before, unaware of the dangers and wonders Liam now saw. He realized that he was alone in this knowledge, carrying a secret too powerful to share. Days turned into weeks, and Liam grew stronger. Wiser and more aware, he learned to control the urges, to use his abilities for good, but also to respect the power inside him. Each time he touched the forest, the trees whispered, welcoming him, warning him, reminding him that he was no longer just a boy. The bite had changed everything, yes, but it had also opened doors. Doors to a world hidden in plain sight, full of mysteries, dangers, and wonders. Liam understood that he had been given a chance, a responsibility to protect, to explore, and to grow beyond human limits. And so, under the moonlight, Liam stood at the edge of Eldoria, looking at the forest that had given him everything. The bite that had seemed so small, so accidental, had become the key to a new life, a new purpose, and a new destiny. He smiled, feeling the pulse of the forest through his veins, ready for whatever would come next. The world had shifted, silently and suddenly, and Liam was no longer the boy who had walked into the forest. He was something more, something extraordinary. And the bite had changed everything. Discovery and fear. The human warship had been hidden for decades. Cloaked in the shadows of the outer galaxy, it moved silently through space, its hull reflecting no light. No sensor could detect it, and the empires had no idea what was coming. Admiral Kor of the Drathian Empire was the first to notice the anomaly. A sudden energy spike appeared on their long-range scanners. Massive and precise, yet moving unlike any known vessel. His advisors argued, pointing at charts, trying to explain it, but nothing matched the readings. The warship struck without warning, disabling a fleet of patrol cruisers before the Drathians could respond. Panic spread through their ranks. Messages scrambled across the galaxy. "What is this human ship?" Commanders whispered, their voices trembling with fear. Meanwhile, the humans aboard the ship moved like shadows, operating with perfect coordination. Every officer, every pilot, trained and fearless, executing maneuvers no alien fleet could anticipate. The weapon systems fired only when needed, precise and devastating, leaving the Empires stunned. The Drathian Council convened immediately, summoning leaders from all galactic powers. The room was filled with tension and anger. "We cannot allow humans to become a threat," one voice said. Another shouted, "We must destroy them before they strike again." But deep down, everyone felt fear. Every probe sent to scan the ship failed, either destroyed or rendered useless by advanced cloaking. Even the fastest messengers reported only fragments of information, each more terrifying than the last. Rumors began to spread among the fleets. "Humans are not like us. They are something beyond." Captain Lyra of the Zenthari fleet watched the reports with disbelief, her hands shaking slightly as she traced the path of destruction left by the humans. How can a single ship be so powerful? She asked herself. Her fleet had trained for years, yet they could not match the tactics, speed, or strategy of the humans across the galaxy. Ordinary citizens whispered the stories they had heard, stories of invisible ships, sudden strikes, and humans who seemed unstoppable. Fear grew, not just in commanders, but in hearts of those who had never even seen a human. Legends began forming, painting humanity as both dangerous and magnificent. The humans, however, did not celebrate, did not gloat. Their mission was clear, precise, and calculated. They targeted only those who threatened others, destroying oppressive fleets, protecting weaker colonies, and teaching empires a lesson in humility. Every action deliberate, every strike leaving a message. Admiral Kor could barely sleep, lying awake in his quarters, staring at the stars, thinking of the human warship and the unstoppable force it represented. "We underestimated them," he admitted quietly to himself. Fear mixing with regret, his empire had assumed humans were weak. But the reality was terrifying. The galaxy began to change, slowly and silently. As humans reshaped the balance of power, alliances formed hastily, treaties were reconsidered. And every empire wondered, where will they strike next? The uncertainty, the unknown, created more fear than any weapon ever could. And deep in the cloaked human warship, Commander Harlan looked at the stars. Observing the panic his fleet had caused, he did not smile or celebrate, for he understood the responsibility that came with power. The humans had the ability to reshape empires, to teach lessons, but with that came weight. A burden heavier than any starship. The first contact with the unknown humans had changed everything. For the galactic empires, fear was now the currency of survival. Every fleet, every leader knew that one mistake could cost them everything. And the humans continued moving, unseen, unstoppable. A silent shadow shaping the fate of worlds, the counter-strategized galactic empires could no longer ignore the humans. Their fleets gathered in massive formations. Dozens of starships moving in precise lines, ready to trap the elusive human warship. Admirals and commanders spoke of strategies, calculating every possible move the humans could make. Yet the humans had already predicted their plans inside the cloaked warship. Commander Harlan studied the fleet movements carefully. His officers coordinated like a single mind, anticipating every attack, every trap, and every attempt to corner them. The first confrontation began near the Arkan Nebula. A fleet of the Drathian Empire moved in tight formation. Hoping to surround the humans, sensors searched for the faintest signal. But the human ship remained invisible, silent, a shadow in space. Then the strike came, sudden and precise. The human warship disabled the frontline cruisers before the empires could react. Energy beams cut through hulls like light through mist. Explosions lit the nebula in silent flashes. Panic spread among the Empire fleets as the attack repeated in patterns no human eye had seen. Admiral Kor shouted orders, his voice rough with tension. Focus fire. Target their shields. Yet every command seemed useless. The human ship danced through space, untouchable, appearing where no one expected, disappearing before counters could be launched. The coalition of empires grew desperate, pooling resources, sending reinforcements, even activating experimental weapons, but nothing worked. The humans moved with skill and precision, strikes calculated to weaken but never to destroy unnecessarily, leaving their opponents bewildered and terrified. On board the human ship, the crew moved silently, speaking only when needed, their coordination perfect. Every pilot and engineer trusting the other completely. Commander Harlan watched the maps, tracing enemy positions, predicting every reaction, and adjusting tactics instantly. Meanwhile, rumors spread faster than light across the galaxy. Humans are not just fighters, whispered a Xanthari captain. They are strategists, thinkers, and hunters in one. Fear and respect grew together. The human warship was no longer just a mystery. It was a symbol of unstoppable skill. Back on the Imperial Council, leaders argued endlessly, blaming each other for miscalculations, pointing fingers, and demanding immediate action. Yet deep inside, every leader feared the same truth. They were facing an enemy they could not control, and they had underestimated humans too long. The humans did not seek destruction for glory. Their strikes were lessons, their movements deliberate, each attack teaching the empires that arrogance and cruelty would be punished. Colonies once ignored now thrived under human protection. While oppressive fleets crumbled silently in the dark, Captain Lyra of the Xanthari fleet stared at her screen, her hands shaking. How can a single ship be everywhere at once? She murmured, her eyes wide with disbelief. She knew the humans were not just advanced, they were something beyond imagination, something no empire could predict. And still, Commander Harlan remained calm. His focus unwavering. He knew the humans had a mission larger than any empire, a responsibility to protect and challenge. Each maneuver was part of a bigger plan, one the galaxy had yet to understand. The counter-strategy had failed again and again. Galactic fleets learned the hard way that humans were not to be fought like ordinary enemies. They were unpredictable, brilliant, and united in ways no alien power could match. As the fleets retreated, battered and humiliated, the humans disappeared into the shadows once more, leaving behind wrecked ships, shocked admirals, and a galaxy forever changed. The counter-strategy had proven one truth: underestimating humanity was the gravest mistake any empire could make. The stars were silent again, but the fear remained, flowing through the communications, whispered in every corridor, and remembered by every fleet commander. The humans had won not by sheer numbers, not by overwhelming force, but by skill, cunning, and unity. And deep inside the human warship, Commander Harlan prepared for the next move. Calm, confident, and ready, the galaxy had learned to fear humans, but they had yet to understand their full purpose. Revelation of human strength. The galaxy had never seen anything like it. The hidden human warship had shown power, skill, and strategy beyond imagination. Yet the true strength of humanity was not in weapons or numbers, but in courage, unity, and resolve. Colonies that had suffered under oppressive empires began to whisper tales of humans arriving just in time, protecting the weak and punishing the cruel. Reports came from distant systems. Humans had disabled entire fleets without destroying civilian worlds, showing mercy where others would have slaughtered. Admiral Kor of the Drathian Empire could hardly believe the reports. His pride wounded, his fleets humiliated. He watched as humans moved not just as a force, but as a symbol, inspiring hope and fear in equal measure. Commander Harlan stood on the bridge of the warship, looking at the galaxy like a chessboard. Every movement, every decision was measured, not for glory, but for balance. The humans fought not to dominate, but to protect and teach. During a key battle near the Ion Rift, the humans faced an overwhelming fleet, hundreds of warships ready to crush them, yet the human tactics were flawless. Using speed, intelligence, and precision, they dismantled the enemy formations piece by piece, leaving the Empire's stunned Captain Lyra, watching the battle unfold, felt something she had never experienced before: respect mixed with fear. "These humans are not just warriors," she said quietly. "They are something more, something we cannot match." Every move of the human warship demonstrated not just power, but ingenuity, teamwork, and honor. Meanwhile, the citizens of the galaxy began to take notice. Stories of human courage spread like wildfire. People in oppressed colonies began to fight back, inspired by the humans' actions. Resistance and hope grew where once there had only been despair. The empires, however, were shaken to their core. They had never faced an enemy who fought with intelligence, strategy, and ethics combined. The humans taught them a lesson no fleet could teach alone: that strength was meaningless without heart, discipline, and purpose. On board the human ship, Commander Harlan reflected on their mission. "We are more than our weapons," he told his officers. "We show the galaxy what humanity truly means: courage, unity, and the will to protect the weak." His crew nodded, understanding that their victories were about more than battles. They were about legacy. The empires tried once more to strike, but each attempt failed. Humans anticipated every move, turning enemy strategies against them. By the time the fleets realized their mistakes, humans had already disappeared into the shadows, leaving behind a message of warning and hope. The galaxy now understood that humans were unpredictable, relentless, and morally strong. No one could measure their true potential, for it was not only in their technology, but in their spirit, determination, and refusal to bow to fear. And so, as the human warship drifted silently through the stars, Commander Harlan watched distant worlds, knowing the galaxy had learned an important truth. Humanity's strength was not just in what they could destroy, but in what they could protect, and the empires would never forget it. The hidden humans had revealed themselves, and the galaxy realized that the greatest force was not the size of a fleet or the power of weapons, but the courage, intelligence, and unity of the human race. The aftermath and legacy of the galaxy had changed forever. The empires that once ruled without question now trembled at the thought of humans. Their fleets were scattered, their pride shattered, and their leaders filled with regret. Colonies once oppressed now celebrated, telling stories of humans who appeared silently, struck with precision, and vanished before the enemy could respond. Songs and tales spread from star to star, painting humanity as fearless, brilliant, and unstoppable. Admiral Kor paced his command room, staring at the stars. The battles had cost his empire dearly, and he knew one truth. Humans were no ordinary enemies, they were a force of nature. A lesson in courage, intelligence, and unity. Meanwhile, the hidden human warship moved quietly through space. Its mission complete, yet far from finished. Commander Harlan stood on the bridge, watching the galaxy unfold before him, knowing that every strike, every act, had changed the course of history. The empires sent emissaries, trying to negotiate, to understand, to prevent further chaos. Yet the humans did not answer with threats or demands. They had no desire for conquest, only to protect, to challenge, and to ensure balance. Stories of human victories and mercy reached the farthest corners of the galaxy. Inspiring hope and caution alike, people spoke in hushed tones of the warship that appeared from nowhere, striking fear into the hearts of mighty fleets, and then disappeared back on Earth. The human fleet prepared for new missions, quietly training, quietly watching, ready to defend and protect wherever they were needed. Commander Harlan understood that humanity's legacy was just beginning. A force guided by courage, intelligence, and the will to stand against any threat. In the Galactic Councils, leaders now feared the unexpected. They debated strategies, alliances, and peace, all while remembering the humans who had taught them humility. Respect and fear mingled in every conversation, a reminder that power without wisdom was dangerous. The galaxy would never forget the bite that had awakened humanity's true strength. The wars had begun in secret, but the lesson was clear. Underestimate humans at your own peril. They were clever, fast, and unstoppable, but also guided by a moral compass few could match, and so, the humans continued their journey among the stars. Silent guardians, strategic warriors, and protectors of the weak. The hidden human warship became a legend, a symbol of hope and fear. A reminder that courage and unity could challenge even the greatest empires. As Commander Harlan looked toward the horizon of distant stars, he felt the weight of responsibility and the thrill of possibility. Humanity had changed the galaxy forever. And yet, there was more to come, more battles, more mysteries, and more opportunities to shape the fate of worlds. The legacy of the humans had begun, and the galaxy would watch, wait, and remember. The bite that changed everything was not just an event. It was the start of a story that would echo across the stars.